Now I hope this is recording. Yeah, it looks like it is. All right, hello everybody. Oh shoot, I forgot to check what today's date is. I think it's the 24th. Pretty sure it's the 24th, Saturday of August, 2024. Hope you're all doing well. As you can see, I'm recovering from my foot surgery on the left foot there. Not able to do a whole lot, but I do have some things I can make a video for anyway. Um, Yesterday, I drug my housemate with me to be my muscle because I found a car on Facebook down in Waldorf, Maryland. It's a little over 2 hours south of here, about 100 miles. And I wanted this trim right here, the stainless steel trim, and mostly for the right side, but also the rocker molding on this side. And he thought he had a good trunk lid. So bought this car because the idea was to swap the trunk lids right there. So I wouldn't have to carry it home and then dispose of my old one, all that kind of stuff. So we went down there, got there, met the man. His name is Daniel Beers, real nice guy. Turns out he collects Lincolns from the 60s. I had no idea. He didn't tell me that. And I got to see a couple of beautiful examples. He had a 64 convertible and a 66 convertible in one of his various garages. He runs his own business, body shop, and mechanical stuff, so he knows his stuff. And he ran across this parts car, 67 Lincoln, like I mentioned. So he bought it just to part it out, use whatever parts he could, and he advertised it on Facebook. So went down there, and they had never had the trunk open. They didn't have keys for it. Didn't have a vacuum release, so I couldn't open it the easy way like that. So they jimmied around, and they finally got the trunk open, and I was ready to back my car in the spot next to it and start swapping with Anthony's help, of course. That's my housemate. But once they got the trunk open, they called me over and said, "You're probably not going to want this trunk lid." So I looked inside, sure enough, it's just rust all over the place. The trunk is completely rotted out from underneath. Not evident on the outside at all. The skin looked good, but underneath was completely rotted out. So that took care of that decision and saved me the cost of paying for that trunk lid. So he wanted a little bit more than I wanted to pay for the trim here, and he only would sell the whole car's worth. He wouldn't sell just the 2 or 3 pieces that I wanted. So I decided, since it's so expensive to buy this stuff online and then have it shipped, and hope it doesn't get damaged in shipment, I just went ahead and paid what he wanted. It was a fair price, even though I got a bunch of trim pieces now. I'll show them to you in a minute that I don't need. So I've got extras. Maybe I'll sell those someday, or when I have another 66 or 67 Lincoln I want to work on. So car ran great. I put about, I don't know, 225, 250 miles on it. Ran like a top. She did use a lot of transmission fluid. That was expected. I just added 2 quarts here after I got home. I noticed the power steering was a little bit low again, and I took a closer look at the lines on the steering gear, and it looks like I still didn't quite get those high pressure lines tight enough on top of the steering gear. So when I'm well and I can work again, I'll take another crack at trying to tighten that some more of those fittings. And also, I was surprised a couple times when I came to a hard stop, the oil pressure light came on the dash, and then it went out. So I decided I better check the level. And sure enough, it was like 1.5 quart low. I was surprised because I've been checking it regularly, and it's always been full, and all of a sudden it was low. So I bought a $9 quart of oil at a gas station on the road, and filled it up and went on the way home. But anyway, besides that, she ran great. Really enjoyed driving it. Lots of thumbs up, horn honkings, and all that kind of stuff. However, she's been sitting a lot, obviously, because I'm not doing a lot of driving right now, and already electrical issues are cropping up out of the blue. That seatbelt warning light that I was so proud that I fixed right before my surgery, it ain't working again. So I got to attack that again. That's a minor thing, I know, but like I said before, I like to have all those little things working. So I'll have to take that retractor apart, that switch apart again, and see what happened. And for today, my left rear window won't go down, and it has a new motor in it. I have a funny feeling that it might be the same problem I had when I worked on David Ramsey's convertible down in Catonsville, Maryland. Those little solder things, for attaching 2 wires together, I have a feeling that it just came loose. And that's because you can hear the relay clicking both directions, nothing wrong with the switches and all that. So just something I'll deal with later, not a big deal. I have my clock ready to install. I'm actually going to install that today because that's pretty easy to do, even with a cast on. I'll show you my drums, that are in the trunk. Got them back from my mechanic. They're turned. He said one of them was way out of round, even though they're supposedly new. He said he wasn't surprised. It wasn't that unusual for older, in the old days to have to turn them because they weren't always round from the factory, completely circular. And I guess that's about it. I put a post out there early in my convalescence too, asking people to vote on what they thought I should do about the color of the car. I only have 12 votes, so if you see this video, I'd appreciate it if you go to the post tab or the community tab. I don't know what it might look like on your end. And it's my most recent post, about 2 weeks old now or so. Just take a look, give me your opinion on the options I put out there for you. I don't mind, any feedback at all is welcome. So let me pause this first. I guess I don't need to pause it. Yeah, I do. And then I'm going to show you the pieces I have right now. I don't think it's that. So that parts car that I found in Waldorf, it was amazing how rusty that car was. This right rear door was completely rotted out. It was amazing. They already heard about the trunk, and even under the hood, when they finally got the hood open, the cable was broken, but they got it open. It was nothing but rust under the hood. So obviously that car had been sitting for a very long time. Had some nice options though. It had an AM/FM radio in it. It had the optional reclining passenger seat and power headrest, leather seats that actually were in pretty good shape. But, I don't need that, so I wasn't buying that stuff. But anyway, here's my trim on top of the car. Right here, you can see it all. The main ones I needed, actually the main one that I needed was for that fender. I already have a replacement fender, as you know. I didn't have the trim piece, so I have that now. I also have one for the rear fender, which I was missing. And I've got all the other ones, too, that I don't need. So there's going to be extras, all the door ones. This one I needed. This is the rocker panel for the driver's side. It is slightly damaged right there, but very slight. That can be fixed, I think, rather easily. I'm not worried about that. And then I also got a door panel thing here. I didn't need the panel itself. I just needed the star right there, because one of mine is broken. So all I got to do is just take those little lock tabs off, push that out, and replace the one that is broken on my car. So let me pause this while I hobble over to the shed there. All right, in my shed now. Here's my refurbished clock. The guy ran it for 48 hours, said it never stopped. He put my old face on there, so it looks a lot nicer. Still has the patina external housing, but that's okay. That'll all be hidden. I'm not too worried about that. So that I will install today. Like I said, that's pretty easy to do. I also found a complete cruise control setup that somebody was selling on Facebook again. I thought it was a fair price. I mean, I don't know that the servo works, but I will test it out and, just hang on to it for spare parts. This is really the most important thing I bought, this push button switch. Doesn't look as nice as the one I have, but if it's functional, I will gladly install it, because mine works, but only to accelerate. It doesn't, if you push it in all the way on mine, it doesn't coast. It just keeps accelerating. That's not a big deal, but I would love for it to actually work like it's designed to work. 2 positions. The first position accelerates, the second position coasts. So I'll test that out later, when I'm recuperated fully. Here's some of my brake parts. This is the automatic adjustment parts that are in here. There's let me just dump it out here for you. Yeah, there we go. It's just got the self adjuster in there and a new cable and all that. So I got one for each wheel, so they're both the same. Another set of brake shoes, Wagner brake shoes, and I'll hobble over to the trunk and show you the drums. All right, here's my my new drums. They were advertised as new, but the guy sold them to me for a very reasonable price. I think I spent like $125 for both of them, something like that, which for new proper fitting brake drums is phenomenal, since you can't really find them anymore. Not the original design anyway, with the flare here and all. I did test the fit on them before I took them to my mechanic to have them turned, and they are the right ones. So now they're nice smooth surface there, ready to be installed with my new brake shoes. Obviously I won't be doing that until I have a cast and I can put weight on that foot again. So I'm just going to go do the clock real quick and probably wrap this up. So there you have it. The clock is sitting in its hole. It's running. Just going to let it run for a couple minutes before I seal it up, put my liner back in where it belongs. I still got to put the little mounting screws in there too. But she looks good. All right. I'm waiting for it to click. It's going much longer on the, there we go. Almost made it a full minute before it clicked. So that's pretty good. I'm impressed with that. So I think we're going to be all right. So I'm going to wrap this up now, put the rest of the screws in, put the liner back in, and be done with that. And that is that. This is all wrapped up. Got my clock in there. It's running, looking good. So that's the end of this update. I don't expect to have another one anytime soon unless I find some time and energy and motivation to work on that left rear passenger door window motor. So got some more doctor appointments coming up next week. Kind of busy, but I'll get to it. So I hope you have a nice day. Bye.